So when you saw Monday's market action, what was going through your mind?
Well, I mean, I felt like it was an overreaction. The market definitely likes to be a little bit overreactive, and I think that it was a little bit overreaction, especially in the morning when we saw the VIX spiked about 66, right?
That was crazy. I mean, when we were at 80 during the financial crisis, to go up to 65 on overnight like that, I mean, that's very unusual.
Yeah, I think the last time was the great financial crisis and during COVID, 2020. So you don't see that spike very often. And by the end of the day, I think the market got much more rational. You see it close around about a 30.
So if you look at that and you're confident it's more of a positioning thing than a macro thing, do you jump in and start buying? Do you take it as a chance to tell me what moves you're making?
So I think there's a couple. One, you do want to take opportunities here, right? And there are some. I think Eli Lilly's been a great opportunity. We've been in the stock for a long time, and that stock's done very well. And you've seen this rotation more into healthcare. You've seen healthcare looking to break out of that. Even today, Eli's doing great. And I think that the earnings continue. The new utility, let's face it, these drugs that they're selling and people are taking, they're not going to stop taking them. Talk to somebody on diabetes, talk to somebody that's lost 30 to 40 pounds.
Even if the economy weakens a little bit, you don't think these are expensive drugs? They might, drop it at the margin?
Not at all.
Probably drop everything else first.
Yeah, everything else is going to go to the wayside, right? So I think that's a really good position to have. And so when that, when you have a market move like Monday, that's what you're looking to get into.
Were you able to add to that position? I didn't even see what Lilly did on Monday. I know it had a kind of a tough month going into this week.
It has. And, healthcare's been tough for the last 18 months. It's not really participated in the Mag 7. It's not one of the Mag 7. So, but that's what you want to do there. And it specifically with those Mag 7, this is an opportunity to readjust some of your holdings within those 7. And there's definitely something you want to hold, I think, and there's some things you want to, maybe if you're still holding, it's time to probably exit those
Okay,
positions.
do tell. What comes to mind?
Well, the first one, let's just talk about a positive note. I think Microsoft has the biggest opportunity to really take advantage monetarily of AI. I think they absolutely can do that with their Microsoft Word products and PowerPoint and Excel, et cetera. So I think that they have the biggest opportunity, and as the front runner, probably the biggest opportunity to fail.
Let me ask you this, and we don't need to dive into a whole AI thing, but there are some who are saying maybe its strategy of trying to directly monetize AI is not actually the best way to use these tools. In other words, look at how Meta is already using AI to optimize ad sales, which is what it does best, and it's able to make those NVIDIA chips have a high payoff right away because it can better get ad dollars and raise its revenue and raise its earnings and so forth. Microsoft would maybe have a harder path if they have to go around and convince every corporate office to pay for those additional seats to use its tools, which are quickly becoming somewhat commoditized.
Understandable, and that's why I say their biggest risk is on how they actually roll this out to the consumer. The reality is there's a lot of consumers, I've talked with many, that are paying ChatGPT or what have you already. They're $10 or $20 a month.
Yes.
So the demand is there. The execution is critical, but they have the biggest opportunity. In the meantime, put that aside, they're still winning on the cloud. They're still winning in operations. They still outperformed on their earnings per share. So you have earnings to use, if you will.
Totally.
Why you wait?
Well, you said that was kind of one that you think of more positively. What about the other side of these trades?
Well, no offense to many people that continue to hold Tesla, but I would say that's when you want to exit. Tesla, from an AI perspective, is probably 6 to, some people say, 10 years out. It's really not there. It has a long time to wait for that to happen. The sales of the cars, which it is a car company right now, has been disappointing. Right? You still have a great, so to speak, innovative leader, but he's also very volatile. And you never really know what he is going to do. So from a standpoint of an investor.
But you don't sometimes look at SpaceX and go, they're bailing out Boeing and NASA, and maybe Musk knows what he's doing?
Don't you love that? I mean,
it's
absolutely.
Wild. It's what a black eye Boeing, the staid corporate leader who can't, and to their credit, they claim they could solve this problem, but NASA's the one who's not so sure. But I'm just saying, we all talk about Musk's volatility, but in an area like this where precision and reliability really matters, look at what they're able to deliver.
Well, a lot of people talk about him, and it's true, but I've met his employees, and they are fantastic. These are very smart people, they're very capable people, and they work very, very hard. So behind him, there is a wonderful sales force, or workforce.
And that still doesn't make you bullish on the stock, just because you don't think the AI, there's, what do they say, $500 billion of its valuation is for that alone?
I think he's a very outspoken leader. So when the time comes that he really has something, I guarantee he'll probably be talking about it. So I would wait till he speaks before I get in.
Finally, any other trades that you would be exiting here, or kind of final thoughts on this whole week?
Well, I think my biggest takeaway this week is there's a lot of pressure on the Fed, right? And that's my biggest pressure from a macro perspective. What are they going to be doing differently this time? They've had 30 or 40 years of the inverted yield They've had 30 or 40 years of the unemployment indicating recessions ahead. How are we going to avoid that? I'm really interested in what they do different this time than they've done the last 30 or 40 years.
Do you have an opinion on what that should be?
Well, I'm with Steve in this. I think they definitely need to come out with at least a 25. I know people are getting soft. They're very slow. I might want them to speed up just a little bit. So I think that anything outside of 25 or 50 would be an extreme surprise. Emergencies off the table. That's not coming.
But you'd love to see 75 next month.
I think I'd like to see a 50. I'd be a little bit more aggressive with a lot of communication between now and then that's what they're going to do.